was the sound of a pentaoctatripasaurus. So I'm sure you guys have all heard about the snowpocalypse that seems to be taking the country by storm this week. Get it? By storm. But yeah, I just thought it important to note that here, all we're getting is cold. We're not getting any of that snow or any of that fun stuff. Just cold. It's not too much fun. Everyone's seriously wishing for snow so bad. Anyway, I know I already did a video complaining about the cold weather, so I'm just gonna get right to the important part of this video, which is talking about someone I admire. That's the theme this week. I definitely most admire my grandfather. He died about 4 years ago, but I really look up to a lot of the things that he's done. In like the 60s, he created a series of kits called the American Basic Science Club, and they were all these like science kits that kids could put together and just learn so much about stuff. I've been told he actually didn't know all that much about science and like the stuff he was putting together, like before he decided he was going to do it, but he just kind of taught himself everything and went and looked at other rival science kits and stuff, and he did a great job putting them together. There are even some scientists out there that were inspired to go into that profession because of my grandfather's kits, and I think that's just amazing that he could have such an effect on someone's life and like what they decide to do. My grandfather also invented this thing called an optical illusion room, and it's on display in some museum. I've never been to see it, but I've seen pictures and it's really cool. Basically, you have one person stand on one side of the room and one person stand on the other side of the room, and if you look into the room through this little window, it looks like one person's really tall and one person's like tiny. It's really cool. The final incredibly cool thing that my grandfather did was invent something called the cosmic doodle. It's basically a design that looks kind of like this, though it can be really anything. And he has a very specific system for how to do it that is spelled out in this book. And I have to tell you, I have been drawing cosmic doodles for years. They are incredibly addicting. I can just sit there and just draw them. They're really relaxing too. Now that I've talked about reasons I look up to my grandfather, I'd like to just mention a few fun facts about him, because he's really done some interesting things in his life. When he was young, he learned how to hypnotize people, and there are all sorts of stories about mischief he got into. During the Great Depression, he actually drove a riverboat on the Mississippi River, and he would send all the money back to his family. He fought in World War II, mostly in Italy, and he was like a navigator for the Air Force. I don't know what it was called back then, but today it'd be the Air Force. He actually won a whole lot of money playing poker. Before he created the American Basic Science Club, he was in the appliance business, and he put the first air conditioner in the Alamo. So yeah, that is my grandfather. I really looked up to him, and he just lived an amazing life. That was not the sound of a pentaoctatripasaurus.